Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Meryl Stewart. I'm CEO of Marketing and Business Solutions. And today we're going to talk about peer-to-peer fundraising. I've had this as kind of a hot topic lately in discussions with colleagues and clients, and thought I'd share some tips on some things that might make your peer-to-peer fundraising this fall a little more successful. So before we get started, I want to say that peer-to-peer fundraising really allows supporters to make a difference simply by leveraging their social networks. It's really that chance to build individual contributors and expand your donor base, not only from a brand awareness perspective, but also to add some additional donors to your portfolio as an organization. It's a really powerful tool. I know there's many organizations that are not strangers to peer-to-peer fundraising, and there's others that are using it kind of as the first time to really dip their toe into expanding their donor base as a result of the year that we've all had. So some stats to think about when you're talking about peer-to-peer fundraising. The average peer-to-peer fundraising page raises around $568. That means that fundraiser typically has a donation size of around $66 because they typically average about 8 donors that funds are being raised from on a page. So it's pretty interesting. And 35% see an average increase in giving when they show a goal meter. So many of our clients and colleagues have asked, should we show the thermometer? Should we not show the thermometer? And campaigns typically raise 150% more when they include videos in their messaging. So some things to keep in mind as you start to talk about and develop your plans for this fall. But the big question, how? How do we get people to fundraise for us, and what does that look like? So peer-to-peer influence and social sharing is kind of the core component to peer-to-peer fundraising. Most people will give and participate in a peer-to-peer fundraiser because their friend or their neighbor or their family member asked them to, and not necessarily because the nonprofit asked directly. You do need some core people, some champions for your mission, and people that love what you to start that. But most of the other donors are going to come from those advocates and those champions social networks, and they're going to do it because their friend, their family member, their neighbor is doing it, and because they're associated with one another, they'll tend to participate. So some things to keep in mind when you're looking for people. One is everybody is in a different place with capacity right now as far as giving and participating. So you need to ask permission. You need to not assume that everyone can. And you need to let people know that they're facing some challenges, or may be facing some challenges right now in their own personal lives, and that you understand that, and that they may not be capable of participating, but you wanted to at least invite them to participate and see what they have to say. And if they can, they will. And if they can't, they won't. And maybe they can help some other way by maybe getting the word out and advocating for you on social media without being a peer-to-peer fundraiser. And so maybe that's their contribution. You have to make the barriers to participating very small. So instead of asking people to give, $100 or $1,000 or a large gift on social media and through peer-to-peer fundraising, you want to kind of focus on the smaller amounts. Can you give $10? What does $20 accomplish? What does $50 accomplish? Make it small. People will do what they can. And I know, typically in fundraising, we say, people will give what they're asked for. But in peer-to-peer fundraising, because the threshold for gifts tends to be a bit smaller, it's okay to kind of be in that smaller range when you're asking people to make a contribution, so that it doesn't seem hard for them to participate. It's just something that they go, oh yeah, I have $20, I can contribute to that, and they'll participate. The third kind of component that you want to remember when recruiting and when you've brought in people to help raise money for you is that you want to avoid you-centric messaging. The message really should focus on the donors, what they get out of it, what the impact is across the gift. And so, this isn't about you recruiting a bunch of people to help you raise money. This is about you providing an opportunity for donors to support something that they love. And so that transition and kind of messaging of how you recruit people is important because it makes them feel like they're the heroes. They're the ones that get to do this great work to help support your mission and your impact, and not so much because you need them to do it or you have to meet that budget goal or something else that's more inward focused. So participants, as I mentioned, are more than 2 times as likely to have been recruited by a friend, a family member, a coworker, a colleague, than directly by nonprofits. So it's important for you to choose people that you recruit to do this, to kind of be those champions that have a network, that are willing to share, that are excited to do it. Why people will participate? They'll participate because they care in your mission, they care about your mission, that they believe that the money that is raised will actually make a difference, and that they feel like they're going to enjoy the experience of participating. The impact is to, the impact of where the dollars go is really important to share. And that's the key to connecting people to making a contribution. So you have to be able to tell that story, and help the participants and your champions to tell that story. And then, lastly, kind of on this recruitment topic, you have to find ways to inspire people and motivate people. So, constantly talking about, the goals, where you're headed, what the impact is, how many more people or animals or whatever the cause might be has helped. Those are important things that are going to be, key for you to share along the way as you're, participating and having others participate in this type of campaign. Another component that's really important is registration and setup. So someone might say, "Yes, absolutely, I will do it. I'll get on board." But how do I do it? So some people need their hands held a little bit, and you need to be prepared for that. They need to understand how they set up a peer-to-peer fundraising page. If you're using software or some type of web application, make sure that they know how to do that. And it might be that you pull a how-to guide or put some steps together for them. It may be as easy as I'm registering to maybe raise money through Facebook and setting a goal, which is, a different process. And so maybe setting up the steps for them that way so they can just breeze through that and set it up on their own through their profiles. If you can leverage login through social media, it makes it a little bit easier just because they have one less thing to remember. But you want this to be a seamless process. You want it to feel like, for the advocates and the champions that you have, that it's easy for them to participate in and do. And you want to think about the donor side, the customer experience, if you will, of those folks in their leverage networks, and what it is that it's going to be like to make a contribution. It should be super simple. 90% of those with an established fundraising goal typically meet that goal. And so if they're able to set up their page, set their goal, and get that done, more than likely they're going to meet or exceed the goal that they've set, but it's got to be easy. So here's some things to think about putting into a toolkit. How to set up their fundraising page. We just talked about that. Maybe throwing in some sample social media posts. What do you want them to say about what you do? Make it easy for them to talk about your organization, talk about your mission, maybe share a personal story or an interaction that they've had at one point. You can share images with them, give them kind of a variety of images that they can share through their social media posts so that they can be aligned with your branding, but that those images also show impact. So if someone is going through, my page and they're looking for, this fundraiser and how is it that my money is going to support this organization, part of that story can be told through images. And so making sure that the impact is captured there. You can share videos. Some organizations have pre-recorded or pre-made videos. Maybe they're even hosted on a YouTube channel. Create links for those, provide those to your advocates and your champions so that they can share those easily. And then make it easy to donate. They should be able to click, donate. It's like a shopping experience. It should be that easy. And think about what that would look like. If you were shopping, what would you want that experience to be? That's going to be important so that everyone can just do it from their phone, on their laptop, on their device, and make it super simple. So the fundraising experience, tracking group progress and donations, donation notifications are powerful motivators when it comes to social fundraising. And it's important that that goal meter is there. It's important that the organization is sharing updates as the fundraiser is happening so that their broader audience understands what's going on, in addition to the individual participants and advocates and champions that are fundraising, with their own smaller goal in mind. So making sure that you provide updates to your champions so that they can push that out, and also you pushing that out on your organization's page. And then those who typically people who check their fundraising progress multiple times a day are most likely to exceed their goals. So encourage people, to check in on the progress, not just to sign up and put a link out there and forget about it till it's over, but to really engage with people, to say thank you to their donors, that people who donate online through their personal fundraising page or their personal fundraising link. Make sure that they say thank you. You're going to do that work. We'll talk about that in a minute from the organization's perspective, but it's important that they do that as well. I want to talk a little bit about retention and future engagement. So 68% of social fundraisers say that they're very likely to fundraise for an organization again, which is a pretty good percentage. But it's important that they receive information on the impact of their raise and the money that was contributed, what it went towards, how it made a difference with the organization. 80% of participants say that it's important to receive that type of information on impact, but only 19% of them ever receive it. So, as nonprofit organizations, that follow-up piece is really, really critical. Everybody is, focusing on retention right now, especially donor retention, so that they can engage people in the future. It's really important that you share that information post campaign so that they feel good about what they've done, that they understand the value of their participation, and that they're more than likely to come back again. And when you say thank you after everything is said and done, it's really important that you include that information. You could mail it, you can email it. It doesn't really matter how it's disseminated. It's just important that they get it. So that's something that you need to tie into your planning when you're talking about getting this work done and doing that this fall. Make some time to make sure that you cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and kind of close up the campaign with a lot of thanks to the people who participated. I think that, this is something that is here for a while, especially as events and things have shifted. So don't be afraid to try something. We've had some projects lately where we've recommended that, maybe you find 10 people, that each have a goal to raise $500. If those 10 people can raise a goal each of $500 and it helps you broaden your donor network, it's totally worth it. And it's very low cost. It takes some time to put some of these materials together so that your donors and advocates and champions are armed with the information they need to be successful. But if you can spend the time doing that and leverage your resources out there for others to then share with their networks, it really will help build your donor base. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'm happy to answer any of those and provide some guidance for you as you kind of move into this fall and capitalize on the giving season, which is upon us. We're at the end of September, so I hope all of you have some great success this fall with that. We'll be sharing some other tips along the way in the coming months to help you as well. If you need additional information on our services and what we do, or you want to reach out a different way, please visit our website at www.mymabs.com. It's MYMABS.com. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.